What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. We already got 13 people in here, and we're not even a minute in to this stream. So make sure you guys hit the like button on this stream as you come on in. Subscribe to the channel as well. So, I'm not gonna lie to you. Today feels like the start of the off season, right? Um, I was just like, I just woke up today and I was like, all right, this is like this is gonna be the day where I do the first long stream because we're gonna have a lot of these. Like you guys know, free agency, I did it last year. Free agency, that's like a 6-hour stream of all day, nonstop, like 6-hour stream. Draft night is insane. That was a 5-hour stream the first night. Then the second day was 5 hours and 30 minutes. Like this stuff is it starts now. And so today we're going to recap the Commanders' move so far this offseason. They obviously fired their offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. Now they have to find a new offensive coordinator. They did a few weeks ago. We're going to recap that move. We're also going to recap Daronte Jones, new defensive coordinator here. We're going to recap that move as well. So, yeah, today feels like the start of the offseason. Everything is now under us, and they just have moves to make. So, let's start by talking about David Blough. Let's talk about him first. He's the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. He's 30 years old, guys. I mean, he's so young. He has basically no coaching experience other than 2 years. But the one thing that is really good for him is he played in the league. Playing in the league, playing quarterback was so beneficial for him, and that's really just helped him out. He has experience, obviously, being our assistant quarterbacks coach. Then in December, he turned into the main quarterbacks coach because Tavita Pritchard left to go to Stanford. And now, just like that, he's our offensive coordinator. I didn't really see the smoke around his name at first. I thought it could be a Brian Dable. I thought it could be another more intriguing name, but they decided to go in-house. And again, this is so risky. But Dan Quinn showed us that when they said they were going to go young with the coaching staff, like they weren't lying. They weren't lying when they said that. And so now you have a 30-year-old as your offensive coordinator, but his experience is good. Like, just being a quarterback in the league, I think that's just going to help him so much. But he's also been around Kevin O'Connell. He's been around Cliff Kingsbury. He's been around these really smart offensive minds. And I think that just goes a long way for him. Like, that's going to help him a lot. So, when you look at the upside, I think the upside is fantastic. Really on both of these guys, the upside is like crazy. But for David Blough, the upside is tremendous. It's awesome. Like these hires, these two hires could potentially be two head coaches one day. Now, is Daronte Jones going to be a head coach? Like he's around like 48 years old, to my knowledge. I couldn't find an exact age online, but he's around that age. He's been doing it for a while. Could he be a potential head coach? I don't know. Depends on how good he does here. But David Blough, that the chances of him being a head coach are high. They are high because, again, you look at his experience. You look at him being a former quarterback. You look at the teams that wanted to interview him this offseason. I mean, heck, the reason we felt like we should go ahead and hire him is because we didn't want other teams to get him. We didn't want the Lions to interview him and pick him up as their offensive coordinator. We didn't want that to happen. So, the reason that he was hired so early was because we didn't want other teams to get him. So that says a lot about David Blough. It wasn't just us that was interested in David Blough. No. It was not just us that was interested in David Blough. There were multiple teams out there that wanted to hire him, and they thought he had a bright future. So it wasn't just us. However, though, he's 30 years old. I mean, the chances of him being a future head coach are like, they're there. There's chances. That's for sure. But then there's also, when you look around, there's also like this this doubt that people have that's like, well, what if this doesn't work out? Like, what if this backfires? Like, that's a real possibility that this backfires and next year we're sitting at 4-13 again because we don't have a guy that's ready to call plays. Like, that's a real possibility. I think that is a thing that people aren't ready for. People aren't ready to start saying, like, there could be a chance that we suck next year because he's not ready to call plays. But I myself just try to focus on just looking at, okay, if this does work out, you could have potentially a future head coach for another team, or maybe us. I mean, heck, maybe us. But you could have a future head coach here, and you could have just sparked on one of the brightest offensive minds out there. I mean, when these reports came out that he was our offensive coordinator, these guys were not, I mean, they were all saying one of the brightest minds in the league. Like, and they don't lie, you know? Like these insiders, Adam Schefter, they don't lie. You know, they work for ESPN. So, he could be one of the brightest minds in the league. And he's young. So he has a lot of things going for him. He's already worked with Jaden Daniels. I think the biggest reason I have confidence in this is because he's already worked with Jaden Daniels. I think that's one of the biggest reasons I have confidence. They already have that relationship. They've already spent a good bit of time together because, again, he wasn't just the assistant quarterbacks coach last year. He became the main quarterbacks coach at the end of the year. And I know Jaden was not playing for the most, like he played for one Vikings game. But understand that these guys have a lot, they do a lot together. They spend a lot of time together. By the way, guys, we have 20 people in here. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button if you are new to this community. Make sure you guys send us super chats to support. Super chat goal is just one today. So yeah. And I'll get to the comment section after. After I'm done talking, I'll get to the comment section. So you guys can go ahead and flood the comment section. I'll read the comments, right? Unless it's something stupid, like you're just hating on the moves. Because I already told you guys, I wouldn't hate on these moves early. But I wouldn't be too excited about this either. But anyways, back to what I was saying. These guys spend a lot of time together. Like, David Blough he spent so much time with Jaden Daniels, right? He spent so much time with Jaden Daniels, and just him being the quarterbacks coach at the end of the year, I think that's so beneficial. He wasn't just the assistant quarterbacks coach. He became the quarterbacks coach at the end of the year. I think that means a lot. I think it really does. So, yeah, they have a strong relationship. Dan Quinn felt like this move was the best move he could make. And so now we have to go out here as fans and trust Dan Quinn. That's really what it comes down to, because he's the one that makes these hires, man. He's making this hire. They promoted David Blough, and there's a lot of excitement that comes with this. It's not a guy that his ceiling, but you also don't know his floor. There's always a upside and a downside. You don't know David Blough's ceiling because nobody knows. One of the other best things about hiring David Blough is nobody knows his offense. It could be a complete mix of Cliff Kingsbury's offense, of Kevin O'Connell's offense, of Ben Johnson's offense, and that sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you, but those guys sound pretty good to me. So, like, when you look at it, this could go really freaking well next year. You don't know David Blough's ceiling as a play caller, and you don't know what his offense is going to be. You don't know how he's going to plan for particular games. You just don't know. You don't know. It's like year one of Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels. It's like when people say they have film on Jaden Daniels, and so now that's why he's being stopped or being held down a little bit more. Well, it's the same thing for David Blough. It's just Jaden Daniels in his rookie year. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know the ceiling that he has. Jaden could have won us the Super Bowl in year one, and that could have been the ceiling. But he did reach his ceiling at the NFC Championship. Not saying he played bad. And I don't want to make this too much about Jaden, but I'm not saying he played bad, but I'm saying the team was not ready to take Jaden Daniels' leadership and take it to the Super Bowl. They weren't ready for that, and that's fine. It was year one. But what I'm trying to say is you don't know David Blough's, you don't know his ceiling, and you don't know how he's going to call particular games. So that's in just in that case, that it's really freaking exciting. It's really exciting. Yeah, it is to have David Blough here, 30 years old, and just such a young guy that is could be a really bright mind. It's just really exciting to have him here because you don't know his ceiling, and you don't know, like, we're back to kind of that we're back to that square one where it's like you don't know what's going to happen. I love being back to square one. I love being back to, you don't know how we're coming next year. You don't know how we're coming next year. We could be 13-4. Okay, that's unrealistic, but you don't know how David Blough's offense is coming next year. He is new to this. I love the fact of just being him being such a brilliant kind of a, this sounds weird, but kind of an evil offensive mind. Like, you don't know how he's coming next year. And I just love that. So, yeah, this David Blough hiring is very exciting for me. And I definitely cannot wait to see how this works out next year. But at this point, we have to build an offense around him. And I'll say this when I talk about Daronte Jones, but we have to build an offense around David Blough, or else he's not going to be able to do anything. And that's how it's going to be for everyone. So I say this for whoever would have came in here and been the offensive coordinator, whoever would have came in here and been the defensive coordinator, you got to build something around him. You have to build something for David Blough to work with, or else he's just not going to be successful. And that's the reality of it. So you got to build around David Blough. But once we build around David Blough, I'm ready to go out here and see these boys work. I'm ready to go out here and see these boys work. Like, I can't wait for next year. But I also can't wait for the new league year, the draft. Like, just to give you a timestamp, the NFL draft is 84 days away. It's getting close. 41 days away is the new league year in the NFL. And then the new NFL season in 2026 is 227 days away. So I'm just ready to go out here and see David Blough work, but I got to see his offense first. You have to build around David Blough. You have to put him in a good situation. But after you do that and put him in the best situation possible, it's up to Adam Peters now. We've made the hires. Dan Quinn has made the hires. He's made the tough decisions. He's heard the interviews. He's done all that. But now it's time for Adam Peters to build something around these two coordinators. So I've talked about David Blough long enough. Now we're about to transition to Daronte Jones. But before we do, just want to remind you guys, make sure you click the like button if you have not done so. Make sure you click the subscribe button if you have not done that as well. If you want to send a super chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Super chat goal is 1 super chat. That will be read immediately. But otherwise, any other comments, like, I'll read those at the end of the after I'm done talking about these two coordinators. But yeah, make sure you guys drop all your thoughts in the comment section about these two coordinators. I'd love to hear them. So let's talk about Daronte Jones, new defensive coordinator for Washington. So when was this? Was it Monday? Whatever night Daronte Jones was hired, I was chilling. I was downstairs. I was on the couch. I was watching TV, and I see the notification, and I'm just like, Like, I remember the Commanders I remember the Commanders interviewed him. Like, I remember Daronte Jones was just interviewed a few days ago, right? Most recent interview we had, actually. And I was like, and I saw the Vikings notification. I'm not going to lie to you. I know Brian Flores was retained with the Vikings, but I forgot about that for a second. It went out of my mind. And I was like, wait a second. But then I read the rest of the notification. Then I saw it was Daronte Jones. And I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was like, I gotta do my research on this guy. Like, I got to do my research because I don't know anything about him. I don't know I don't know why we hired him. What experience does he have? But the first thing I'll say about this dude is the more research I've done, the more I've looked at Daronte Jones and the hire that we made, the more I am happy with it. The more I am satisfied with it. The more I get excited about it. That's the first thing I want to say about this Daronte Jones hiring is this gets me excited. Real quick. Just after doing a little bit of research, this gets me excited. When you look at his coaching experience, he's been coaching for about 20 plus years. He's been around the game of football for so long. He has experience with so many defensive backs. And when I look at him coach defensive backs, I can't lie to you. I just get excited. I only picture a bright future with him and Trey Amos, with him and Mike Sainristil. That's what I picture when I see him coach the defensive backs. So I see a bright future with Daronte Jones. I really do. But there's people complaining about this move. And there's people complaining about, oh, this isn't Carl Scott. We wanted Carl Scott. And I get that. But he's the defensive pass game coordinator for the Vikings. He is about the same as Carl Scott. Like, his team didn't make it to the playoffs. But his defense was good with Brian Flores. And so I don't see too much of a difference from him and Carl Scott. I mean, heck, we liked Carl Scott because of the experience that he had, because of the coaches he coached under. But when you look at who Daronte Jones coached under, like, he coached under Mike Zimmer. That's one of the best defensive coordinators. I don't want to say of all time, but it's something there. He was a head coach too. He's coached under guys that have all gotten opportunities to be head coaches, that all have experience. He's coached under Vance Joseph. Look at what Vance Joseph does with the Broncos defense. He might be the best defensive coordinator in the league. But if Vance Joseph isn't, his guy that's higher up than him, Daronte Jones, Brian Flores, is the best defensive coordinator in the league. Like, when I look at who this guy is surrounded by, I just can't help but see success. I see success. I really do. I see success. I see a vision. Now, I'm just glad we got Brian Flores in here. Obviously, I wanted to be him, but maybe, and let's just use our brains here. Like, maybe Brian Flores came in here and said, hey, so I'm not going to accept the job here, right? I'm not going to accept the job here. I'm sorry. I know you guys wanted me to be your defensive coordinator, but I do have a suggestion for you. This is a guy that I don't mind losing, because I want the best for him. I want him to be promoted. I want, the work that he's done to show. So when Brian Flores came in here for the interview, he could have been like, I have a suggestion for you. Okay? And then Daronte Jones, the suggestion, his defensive pass game coordinator. It's like, if I can give you an analogy, it's like you're getting sort of the same thing. Like, we couldn't get Brian Flores, so we'll take the lower power. We just want a guy that's worked with Brian Flores, that's worked in Brian Flores' system. It's like skipping Chick-fil-A to go to McDonald's. It's like, those are two solid options, but obviously Chick-fil-A is the better option. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what this kind of is. You're getting a lower level guy that's sort of like Brian Flores, and that's coached under Brian Flores, that has a lot of experience like him, that coaches like him. You're skipping Chick-fil-A and you're going to McDonald's. It's not too much of a drop-off, but you do see the difference. You do see the difference, right? You see the difference because you wanted Brian Flores in here. So I'm not all that mad with this hire. He was the defensive coordinator for LSU in 2021. Okay? Defensive coordinator at LSU in 2021. If you look at the numbers, and I know LSU wasn't good this year. I know LSU wasn't too good in 2021. But when you look at the defensive numbers, they were like 20th in takeaways. They had very good numbers. But just like everything else with everybody else, there's always a downside. Daronte Jones always says, we're looking for the ball. We're tackling at the ball. We want the ball, right? We want everything to do with the football. We want takeaways. Well, guess what Joe Witt Jr. said when he came in here? He said the same thing. Joe Witt Jr. said the same thing. Heck, I had a video on my intro a few months ago that was Joe Witt Jr. saying, like, it's violent. That was in my intro. Like, these dudes say things. Daronte Jones, I'm not trying to speak this, but he could be the same as Joe Witt Jr. He really could. But I just love the experience that he has. Just being with the Vikings these past few years. And again, LSU, calling plays at LSU. Like, I just love it. I love it. Calling those big games, like under pressure decisions that you have to make, that you have to force yourself to make, these loud environments. Like, I just see a lot of good things from coaching in college. So I think that's one of my favorite things. But again, I already told you, like the Mike Zimmer stuff, the Vance Joseph stuff, Brian Flores, obviously, that stuff gets you excited too. He's coached under these guys. He has. That stuff gets you excited as well. So I just can't help but be excited about these two. But just like everybody else, just like how I feel whoever we would have hired, you got to go here and you have to build a defense around Daronte Jones. And I would have said that for everybody else. But then there's another good thing about Daronte Jones too. He's from the area. He's, DMV native. So I do like that as well. I'm not saying that's why they made the move. I'm just saying it helps, right? It makes it more comfortable for him. That's for sure. So this hire just gets me excited, but you have to build around Daronte Jones. You have to build around David Blough. So these two coordinators, they both show one thing about Dan Quinn, and they just show that Dan Quinn, he's not playing around anymore. I love the hires from Dan Quinn because of one reason. I can expect you, Dan Quinn, I can expect you to hire Raheem Morris. I can expect you to hire a guy that you're comfortable with because you've done it your whole career. But I can't expect you to hire Daronte Jones. I can't expect you to promote David Blough. I can't do that. So when I tell you this offseason has been refreshing for me, I'm being dead honest. Because what Dan Quinn has done over and over and over again that's backfired in his face is the same things. And the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. So this offseason has been refreshing for me because there's been a change of philosophy. There's been a change of feel, right? There's been a change in Dan Quinn. He looks like a guy that's fighting for his job. He looks like a guy that is saying, I'm going to go big or go home. I'm going to put all my chips on the table, and if this doesn't work out, well, then it doesn't work out. But I tried everything I could. I'm not going to go out here and hire Raheem Morris because I know the ceiling here. I don't want an 18th ranked defense, though, this time. I don't want to settle with my buddy, with a guy that I'm comfortable with. I don't want to settle for that type of guy. I want something different. I want a younger guy. I want a guy without experience. I want a guy that I don't know his ceiling. And I don't know Daronte Jones' ceiling. So when I tell you this offseason has been refreshing for me, it's been so refreshing. It has been a change of philosophy, and we have not been lied to. We have not been lied to. We have not been lied to because they said they were going young this offseason. They said that they were going to change things up, and they did. They did. You saw it with the David Blough hiring. I love the change of philosophy. I love the change of feel. I love what Dan Quinn has done this offseason. I love the risk involved. I love the danger involved in these moves. I really do. I love it. I love it. I love the danger involved in these moves. I just love I've been here for a while. I've been doing this for so long. Well, no, this is my final coaching opportunity. If I fail this, I'm not getting hired by anyone else because that's the reality of the world. That's how it works. People don't care about you or your feelings. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play it different this time because this is my last opportunity. So I'm going to play it different. I'm going to change things up and I'm going to hire guys that I'm not necessarily buddies with, that I'm not necessarily, that I haven't really known. And I'm going to give them a chance because I don't know the ceiling. I don't want a 19th ranked defense. I don't want a 15th ranked defense. I want to be better this time. So really, that's just what stuck out to me. I was cooking there for a second, but really, that's just what stuck out to me was just the risk involved in these moves and just the when you look at these guys upside, they both have, we could have two future head coaches here, or we could have two massive failures here. And that's the way I like it. I don't know about you, but that's the way I like it. I like risk. I like danger. I like taking a chance on a guy that hasn't had a chance before. That's what I like. I don't know about you, but that's what I like. And that's what I find attractive is just a chance. Just give me a chance, right? David Blough could have worked for somebody else for 5 more years. He could have been here for 5 more years and still not gotten another chance. But he got his chance this offseason. Now we have to build around him, and now he has to go out here and prove something. But you can just see that 4-13 feel where we have a guy that doesn't know how to call plays. You can see it. So I'm not trying to speak that into existence, but you can see that downside. You can see that downside. But then you can also see the upside where this guy is a future head coach, where this guy is a stud, is the best, the youngest offensive weapon in the league. You can see that. And then again, as far as Daronte Jones, I love that we casted a wide net looking for a defensive coordinator. We casted a wide net. Like, we looked for everyone. Right? There was times in this search where, like, especially the Terrell Austin interview, like, it was just like, what are we doing? Right? That was the ultimate low. But they casted a wide net. They looked around and they were ultimately stopped at the Daronte Jones interview because they loved what he could offer. He could bring them. I watched Daronte Jones mic'd up at the Senior Bowl. I watched Daronte Jones coach. And it's impressive. And it's physical. And it's energetic. And it gets you excited. When guys aren't making tackles, when guys aren't flying around to the football, that's a problem. and there's major consequences to it. So these two guys here prove something about Dan Quinn. Let me also go on a little bit of another, not a rant, but I do want to say something here. Before I do this, though, make sure you guys hit the like button. Please click the like button on the stream if you have not done so. Please click the subscribe button on the channel as well. Let me check the channel subscribers real quick, just while I'm talking about this. 3,249 subscribers. So we're one subscriber away from 3,250. If y'all can help me reach that goal, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, any super chats are greatly appreciated. Super chat goals 1 on this stream. All right. So there's people who are rooting for Dan Quinn to be gone because they don't like him, which is understandable. But there's people rooting for David Blough and Daronte Jones to not be successful next year. And there's people that are calling them to have a bad year next year, that are trying to speak that into existence. And for the life of me, I can't understand that. If you're going to be a fan of this football team, if you're going to watch these games next year, why are you rooting against the team, the coordinators? You may not like the move, but I guarantee you, if we're in the NFC Championship again, you're going to like the move. So y'all got to miss me with the talk about how we want these coordinators to fail because we want Dan Quinn gone. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. I want success. We need to be rooting for the success of these coordinators. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know why the fan base has led people to say this, but we need to be rooting for the success of these coordinators. It doesn't make sense to me, to me at least, to be looking at head coaches for next year and to be looking past this upcoming year. It's 227 days away. You got a long time to already look at the 2027 NFL season. You have a long time. So we need to be rooting for the success of these coordinators. These are our coordinators. I just wanted to say that because I see people that want Dan Quinn's job gone and they're rooting against these coordinators. And again, I can't understand for the life of me why that's happening. I can't. So y'all can miss me with that stuff, with that talk, with that loser talk. I want success and I want Dan Quinn's risk to pay off because when there's a high risk, there's a high reward. I want Dan Quinn to see that reward. Again, it was a change of philosophy. It was a change of feel. He changed his identity. He didn't go with his buddy. He didn't go with Raheem Morris because he wants a guy that he doesn't know the ceiling of. How good can we possibly be next year? So these hires for me, David Blough, yes, it was an easy hire, but there's risk. I'm just going to call it a B right now. B minus. I'll call it a B minus. I don't want to call it a B plus or just a B. I'll call it a B minus. That's in the upper tier. Like, it feels good to me so far. But now we have to build an offense around him. What he needs to figure out a scheme too, and he's going to. This Daronte Jones hire, it's good to me so far. You got to build a defense around him. He proved what he can do in Minnesota. He deserved a promotion, and he got it. So these hires for me are solid, but I think I'm done rambling now. This has been, these past few weeks have been fun for me. Just making all these videos about all the guys we could possibly hire for these spots. I don't like being back to the position where we're hiring coordinators, offensive and defensive. I don't like being back there. No one does. But it has been fun. I'll say that. I'm not going to be too up or down so far with these moves. But you have to go out here and build an offense and defense around these guys. All right. And Dan Quinn had a change of philosophy. So those are my main takeaways from this offseason. But if you ask me last year, let's say 2 weeks after the NFC Championship loss, would we be firing coordinators? This offseason, I would have said no. Everybody would have. And I wouldn't expect it to be back here. This sucks. This hurts. But I'm not quitting. So, like I'll tell you guys that straight up. Like I'm not quitting. So, because I never have. You know, when the 15 years of misery, failure, like my whole life it's been failure besides the NFC Championship year, which was last year. Greatest year of my life. I'll be chasing that high ever again. But for now, I'll stick to do what I do best, and that's talk about a bad football team. But these hires can give you encouragement for sure. So, I've talked your ear off long enough. Let's see if we have any comments here. What's going on, man? They were lying that they wanted experienced play callers. So no, you guys just believe things. Like I don't want to come on here and act like, you know, act like I know it all because I don't at all. But you guys just believe things. You guys believe things. Hold up. Let me answer this text real quick because I need to answer this real quick. So you guys just, I'll be there in a second. Okay. Sorry. I had to answer that real quick. Sorry about that. But back to this comment, they were lying that they want to experience play callers. Okay, yeah. So, you guys just believe things. I think when you listen to the local media and you get yourself excited, you get yourself all filled in with all the information from all these podcasts, like you can get carried away. I don't think the John Kimes of the world, I don't mean to be disrespectful here, but I don't think the John Kimes of the world know everything. I don't think the Nikki Javala, the JP Finley, I don't think they know everything. I think we need to listen to national media a little bit. So they weren't lying. Nobody was lying. Dan Quinn never told us straight up that he wanted experienced play callers because he never said it. The media can twist things around a little bit. The local media does not know everything that you think they know. So they weren't lying when they said they want experienced play callers because nobody ever said it. John Keim on, and I believe this too. It's not just you guys, but John Keim, like he doesn't know everything. I know he works for ESPN. He's the big dog in the media. Like he doesn't know everything. So, hey, the Redskins. Hey, man, I hope we're saying this next year. Like I really do. I hope we're saying this next year. Back again. So, they do lie, bro. They always edify the staff and players. Um, who are you talking about? I think you're talking about Dan Quinn. I mean, sometimes, right? There's definitely lies in sport. Like in sports all the time, there's lies. All the time. So, So that's don't mistake me there, but I'm just saying, like the local media, they don't know all that you think they know. Okay, that's what I'll say. What what up, young blood? Hail the Commanders. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Does anyone know when they're gonna have their pressers? I just want to hear them talk. Like I told y'all, I'm trying to find out everything I can, about these guys. I want to hear them talk. I want to hear their voice. Right? I've never heard David Blough talk. I've never heard Daronte Jones talk really, besides when he was mic'd up at the Senior Bowl. Um, I don't know when they're gonna have their pressers. I wish I could answer that for you. Just being like, obviously putting out news every day. I wish I could know that. I wish I could answer that, but nobody has that information yet. Um, so I don't know when they're gonna have their introductory pressers. I hope it's soon. I mean, it's something to look at, but either I know it's going to happen. So yeah. After the Super Bowl, yeah, when I was talking about, I saw this comment come through when I was talking about Carl Scott. We could have waited until after the Super Bowl, but I think they wanted their guy now, and like there's not a huge difference between Carl Scott and Daronte Jones, whether you think so or not. There's not a huge difference there. Make sure you guys click the like button. By the way, let me see how many likes we have on this stream real quick. We have 28 likes on here. So make sure you guys smash the like button for me. Let's try and get up to 30 likes. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button if you are not subscribed. We are one subscriber away from 3,250. So if y'all can help me reach that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, any super chats are greatly appreciated. I know like the game day streams are not here anymore because there's no games. I know I haven't been streaming as much, but so any super chats are greatly appreciated. But yeah, Carl Scott, I mean, there's not much of a drop off there from these two. They're both defensive pass game coordinators. They both work under great guys. So they both have some experience. So head coaches before Super Bowl and coordinators after. Thanks for that info. Yeah. That's how I see it. I think that's true too. I know coordinators are definitely after. So I know you definitely have to wait. Yeah, head coaches are in season. I think I do remember that. So yeah, um, that's how that works. And I don't want to be talking about this next year. Like I really don't. I hope we have our coordinators for the future, our coach for the future. But yeah, Daronte Jones from the area, so he know our energy around here. Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about Daronte Jones is he's from here, right? But another thing is like we're not gonna sit here and act like he's hired for that reason and stuff. Like he's not hired for that reason, right? They truly loved the interview they had with Daronte Jones, and they loved it so much. And so, when you look at it, there is a ton of great things about Daronte Jones, but one of the best is that he's from here. He can be comfortable here, and I'm just glad he took the job in Washington. I think one of the things that was, looked at when we were, trying to decipher between different defensive coordinators to hire was nobody wanted the job, right? We thought that nobody wanted the job. I mean, there was jokes about the job being posted on LinkedIn and all these different apps. And I don't think that was true necessarily. I think we were just kind of waiting, and we casted a very wide net. I already told you that. Like we casted a very wide net. So yeah, I hope that he brings an energy that's contagious. I told y'all though, like Joe Witt Jr. brought energy. He brought energy, whether you like it or not. The first press conference that Joe Witt Jr. had, that was one of the best press conferences you can have when you're being introduced to a fan base. It really is. Like that was one of the best press conferences you can have. As a coordinator. He said, we're going to play fast, physical, in a violent manner. Like, that was truly one of the best ways to introduce yourself to the fan base. We were all excited. So Daronte Jones can come in here with all this energy, but at the end of the day, you have to prove something as a coordinator. You have to prove something right away. Because last year, Joe Wood Jr. got bailed out. Like, if I'm just being honest, he really was never good with us from the start. So I hope Daronte Jones' energy is for real. It's legit. And I hope that it is vital to the success of the defense. We're going to need that energy. So give them a chance, get young talent. Yeah, I agree. Like, we have to give these coordinators a chance. You know, when people hate on these moves too much, or again, I talked about it earlier, like people saying they were rooting on the downfall of Dan Quinn, so they wanted these coordinators to fail. You can't do that, bruh. Why are you already looking at 2027 and having a new head coach? So we got to give these guys a chance. We can't be too excited, but we can't be too down on these hires either. I know most of you probably didn't like the David Blough hiring. Most of you probably didn't like the Daronte Jones hiring, but I see this as a chance. And again, I see this as a change of philosophy. I see this as a change of not scenery, a change of feel. This is not what Dan Quinn normally does. He said, this is my last coaching opportunity. So I'm going to do something different this time because this allows me to be able to do everything. Now I can say that I've hired young guys, I've hired old guys, I've hired experienced guys. Now I can say that. You have to give these guys a chance. You just have to let them have a chance. These coordinators, you got to let them have a chance. But as you guys can see, I'm going down the comment section. If you want to drop your thoughts on these two coordinators, because that's what we're doing today. We're reacting to the coordinators. If you want to drop your thoughts about these two coordinators in the comment section, have me read it. You can do that. Make sure you guys flood the comment section here. And make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. All of that would be greatly appreciated. A super chat would be really appreciated because you guys know that support helps me out a lot. And that goal is 1 super chat for today. So, yeah, but give them a chance, obviously. Can't be too up or too down. I think I've listed everything that I need to list there, right? Can't be, too optimistic about these moves. Can't say, oh, these are going to be 2 future head coaches. These are going to be 2 guys that are so smart and they're going to do it in the league for a while. Like, that's just, why am I? Okay. Yeah, can't be too up or down. Offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, just got to give him a chance. Just got to give him a chance. We gave Joe Jr. a chance. He showed us what his defense was going to look like and was putrid. It was awful. We gave Cliff Kingsbury a chance. He showed us nothing bad. He had no reason to really be fired. I know some of you are going to disagree with that, but I didn't see a reason for Cliff to be fired. And if you see otherwise, I don't see how. Because, I mean, his whole offense was never with him. He never had Jaden, Terry, and Debo together. Ever, really. So, and Noah Brown, too. That was one of the premier guys that he wanted to, Noah Brown. One of the only deep threats on the team. Tallest wide receiver. So, yeah, not to get too much on Cliff here, but I didn't see a reason for him to be fired, if I'm being completely honest. So I didn't think we had to bring in a new offensive coordinator. But I wasn't I didn't see a reason for him to be fired, to be honest with you. So we can talk about that some other time. That could be a stream title for me. Did Cliff Kingsbury need to be fired? I don't know. I feel like I should have done that a while ago. But anyways, we'll know the real regime and who they are this offseason. Put up or shut up, AP and DQ. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, they're not going to have as much cash as you think they're going to have. Like, after you pay these guys, it looks like we have one of the most, the highest cap space in the league. Like, we're not going to have that, guys. So, but AP still has to go out there and be aggressive, right? That's definitely has to happen. DQ, he's already put up. He's already put up. He's already not shut up. He's already put up this offseason. Now, obviously, all this depends on how these moves work, but he's already put up. Like, he's already sat here and made some of the riskiest hires he's ever had in his career. He's already sat here and told us that he's going to make they're going to go young, and he wasn't lying. So, yeah, he's already put up this offseason. Now I think now it's time for AP. AP's job is safe for the next 2 years. Like, I can almost guarantee that. So he really has to put up because there's not too much risk unless he massively fails this thing. Because you don't just fire GMs every year. That doesn't happen. But yeah, it's put up or shut up time for AP. DQ's already put up this offseason. He's already put all his chips on the table. He's already said, if I go down, I'm going down with a fight. If I go down, I'm going down with something I have never tried before, and that's hiring the younger guys, the inexperienced guys. And so he went down with a fight if he goes down. He went down with a fight if he goes down. So, like, I'm not even going to sit here and act like, DQ hasn't put up. He's put up this offseason. So, if Jones can bring even half of what Flores brings and Adam gives him the players, then D should be solid. D can't get any worse. That's the good thing about this offseason, right? Is the defense can't get any worse. The defense can certainly not be any worse. That's the great thing about it. I'll say that. But I agree. Like, if he can bring some of what Flores, brought to the Vikings, that's really going to go a long way. But again, that's what I was saying with any guy that comes in here. I said you got to give them players. Like, you have to give these guys players. You have to build around your coordinators. So, yeah, we got to get Daronte Jones players, but yeah, I mean, I hope he can bring what Brian Flores brought. And it's not like we need some top tier defense next year. That's all I ask for of Adam Peters and of Dan Quinn and of Daronte Jones now is we don't need a great defense. We don't need a great defense. We need a solid defense though. Because when I look around the league, I look at Drake May. He has one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. When I look at CJ Stroud, he has one of the best. He has probably the best defense in the league. And he's just not as talented as a Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix. CJ Stroud just isn't that talented. So he has the best defense in the league. They almost carried him, but they didn't do it because he crapped the bed. But when I look around the league, I look at Caleb Williams. I look at Drake May. I look at Bo Nix. I look at their defenses, and I just say, like, man, if we just had a halfway decent defense, Jaden Daniels could be so good. If we could just get some turnovers. You know what the Bears did for Caleb Williams last year? You know what they did? Like, Caleb Williams wasn't even the reason they were winning. The reason that the Bears beat us on Monday Night Football in Week 6 was because of the defense. Obviously, it was a self-inflicted mistake, but the defense got the turnover. Set him up in good field position. Like, of course, anybody's going to go win that game if you're Caleb. When I look around the league, I just get so jealous. I just get so jealous. I do. And I just say to myself, if Jaden had a 15th ranked defense, if Jaden had a defense that was ranked 10th in turnovers, just get him some turnovers. Like, man, he could be electric. But we don't have that. We don't have that. And it's now up to Daronte Jones. It's now up to this defense. It's now up to Dan Quinn to try to put a solid defense in their hands. It's now up to it's now up to this coaching staff to put a solid defense in Jaden's hands and try to help him out a little bit. Because again, I just see these young quarterbacks. I just see Drake May. I just see Caleb Williams. I just see Bo Nix, and I just like, man, give my quarterback that. Like, it really is. It really does come down to if Jaden just had a solid defense. That's really what it comes down to. So that's why this offseason was so important. But if Daronte Jones can bring half of what Flores brings, yeah. Still nervous about Blough. Jaden stays healthy, and he will make Blough look pretty good, hopefully. Yeah, I'm nervous about Blough too. Jaden stays healthy, he will make Blough look pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's not you need a good offensive coordinator, but that's where it could be trouble. Is Jaden gets hurt again. But at that point, we're already done anyway. So we see offenses change year to year. We see offenses make a drastic change. By the way, I have another point about defense that I'll bring up in a second. But we need Jaden to be healthy, yes. And these two have worked together before, so I'm not doubting the chemistry. I'm not doubting the combo here. I don't think they're going to be bad. Jaden or Blough knows what Jaden likes. So, like, this could really work out. But yeah, Jaden has to stay healthy. I think this could be a mid-year for Blough. Like, Jaden plays okay. Blough's just looked at as okay. Like, he had an okay first year. We'll see what he does the second year, right? I could see it being that type of year for him. I really could. But who knows? Who knows, right? We don't know that yet. We don't know, what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to unfold. We just gotta hope that we gotta hope that Jaden can definitely stay out there. We gotta hope that Blough can take Jaden to another level. Is Blough a Dave Canales? Is Blough a Brian Daboll? Because Dan Quinn will look like one of the most smartest men in the world if David Blough is secretly a quarterback whisperer. And it's always the guys that used to play quarterback that are whisperers. Like, I can't stress to you guys how big being a quarterback is and then coaching. I can't stress to you how good that is because it's like, bro, I've been in that situation. I've done that. I've felt that pain when I got sacked. I have made that tough decision of, oh, okay, I'm going to decide to throw that ball and it gets picked off. What do I do now? I've made that decision. Okay, well, he looks open downfield, but should I throw it? And I decide not to throw it, but I still run for the first down. Which was the right decision? Like, these conversations that Blough and Jaden are going to have are going to be great because Blough has played quarterback. Again, you guys, I just can't stress to you how big that means how big that is to Blough getting the job and to the Lions wanting Blough. Like, I cannot stress to you how much being a quarterback helped him out in this case. So let me bring up the point about the defense real quick. Or no, I'll do that after. But make sure you guys continue to flood the comment section here. It's time to get the Commanders all young team. That's what I've been saying. Like, it's time to go young. It's time to regroup. It's time to rebuild. You just don't have that much time left on Jaden's rookie contract. You don't. And so, you don't have much time left. So you have to go young now. You have to rebuild now. You have to go all in now. That's what you have to do. So they got to find a way to do it. And we have not seen anything yet. I don't know how it's going to go, but they got to find a way to do it. So, I just really hope that Adam Peters is super aggressive and wants to go really young this offseason. I want the Commanders to be the youngest team in the NFL. Yeah, see, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want a middle ground. I want us to be like the Patriots. Like they're not they have a Stephon Diggs on their team. They have some veterans on their team, but they're also considered young, semi-young. So, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Is something like that. Something like middle ground. I don't want us to be the youngest team in the NFL because I do, I want competence, right? Young guys are always figuring things out. We can't be the youngest team in the NFL because Dan Quinn, he's got to win now. So we can't be the youngest team in the NFL, to be honest with you. Appreciate your channel, youngster. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for supporting as always. Need to go all in like New England last offseason, Redskins for life. I think New England's the prime example of how fast things can change. I think we're the prime example of how fast things can change as well, but I think New England is the prime example of how fast things can change because like man, they just went in all in last offseason. They were a 3-14 team they're in the Super Bowl this year. Like teams can change. Teams can change fast. Teams can change fast. That's what I want the Commanders to be like. I don't want to be unrealistic, but that's what can happen. So we got some new viewers in here. Make sure you guys click the like button on this stream. Make sure you guys click the subscribe button if you're new to this channel. We are at 3,249 subscribers, so we're one subscriber away from 3,250. If y'all can help me reach that goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, super chat goal is 1 super chat on this stream. If anybody could fill that out, that'd be greatly appreciated. But New England was aggressive last year and it paid off. And they took risks and they went younger, but I want a middle ground like they have. I want that type of middle ground. That's what I want. I want that type of middle ground. So I hope we can find that. I really do. New England spent their money well. They did. They did. Like they have the most cap space in the league this year. This offseason. Not last offseason, this offseason. They took chances on guys and it paid off. It paid off. It was really just a brilliant offseason for the Patriots. It really was. It was just a brilliant offseason for them. They did spend their money well. Like there's no denying that. They spent their money very well. They went out there and they said, we have Drake May and we have him on a rookie contract. So we're going to maximize this football team right now. And we're going to spend the most money possible. Because in 5 years, when they're paying Drake May $80 million, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to go out there and spend that much money. So that's what Washington needs to do. And it's not this type of thing where it's like spend money to spend money, but it's the type of thing where it's like, if you want a guy and you think he can vastly improve your football team, but you think it's a little bit too much money, you have to go spend the money. You have to spend the money. You have to spend the money. We can learn a lot from what New England did last offseason. We can learn a lot. What's going on, my guy, Steve? Love to see DQ push his chips in the middle of the table. Yes, you're probably about to restate what I said. What I said a lot this stream because I talked for about the first 40 minutes. But yes, DQ pushes chips in the middle of the table. Me personally, both hires just feel good. 30 years of mediocrity and uh, same old has seen its day. Good on you, DQ. I agree. First and foremost, as I said earlier, if you were watching, it felt like a change of philosophy, right? It felt like a change of philosophy. It felt like a complete refresh. It felt like Dan Quinn was saying, "Okay, this is my last opportunity to get this right in the league and win a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to go out here and hire a Raheem Morris because I know the ceiling on Raheem Morris. I'm going to hire these younger guys because I'm going to change philosophy. I'm not going to repeat the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. I'm going to change the philosophy this time. And when I tell this fan base I'm going to go young, I'm not going to lie to them. So this offseason has just been really refreshing for me because of that reason. It's been refreshing for me because of just the change of philosophy for DQ, knowing that we have a guy that likes to take chances, that rolls the dice, knowing that we have a guy that can sit here and really, really be risky with it, like just take those chances. Just take those chances. That's what DQ did. So yeah, he completely changed his philosophy this offseason. I just love I'm not going to go with my buddy this time. Like, I'm going to go with the guy that I don't necessarily know that well, but I'm going to give him a chance. I really like that. So, yeah, I'm good on DQ too. They definitely cast a wide net with Jones. Oh, let me get to this real quick. I just saw this. Appreciate you, Steve, for the super chat as well. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you for filling out the goal today as well. Really appreciate you, Steve, for the support, and thank you for the super chat again. They definitely cast a wide net with Jones. Yes, I agree. They were sure with Blough. That's why the waiting didn't bother me. DQ knows his gigs on the line if this blows up in his face. Yeah, it's not just like I think this narrative's overblown of DQ being fired next year. But if this massively fails, yes, he'll be fired. But if these guys are mid and Adam Peters and Josh Harris can see hope in these guys, like they're probably not going to fire DQ. So, but he knows exactly where he's at with this job. And I do love the wide net that they casted with Jones. Like, we got Brian Flores in here for an interview. I was very encouraged by that. We got him in here, right? And it felt like Brian Flores could have just said, "Hey, my next, I'm not going to take the job, but I have a guy for you that I can, probably, say a lot of good things about. And I don't want to lose him from my staff, but I want him to get a promotion and show the hard work that he's done. So I'm going to bring him up here and I'm going to suggest him to you. It's your choice if you want to hire him." And they hired him. And apparently the interview went so well that for the past week, they wanted him. They knew it was him. So, yeah, I do love the wide net though that they casted with Jones. I know that, they they tried to interview everyone, and at times during the process, it was up and down. It was you felt good, you felt bad. Terrell Austin, that move was like, what are you doing? But ultimately, it worked out. It worked out. Daronte Jones is your new defensive coordinator. So, yeah, they were sure with Blough. Like, it seemed like for the past, there was a week time where it was like, we knew it was going to be Blough. Like, it was just all the reports and stuff, and we knew it was going to be Blough. Like, they were set on that. So, yeah, that's the last comment here. So I did plan to go a little bit longer, but obviously, if there's no more comments, I'm good. I don't know if I'm going to make a video later. We'll see if I make a video later. You guys that are on the app though, just make sure you keep your eyes peeled. If you come back on the YouTube app, I may have a video up later. Maybe not. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you for listening to me ramble for an hour and 10 minutes. Make sure you guys smash the like button on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel on the way out. Do all those good things on the way out because they really, really, really do help me out. And they don't go unnoticed. And again, we are 1 subscriber away from 3,250 subscribers. So if there's a single one of you not subscribed, just help me to reach that goal. Help me to reach 3.25K subscribers. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. You may or may not see me again, depending on if I make a video or not. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hail the Commanders as always.